The best Eagles offseason show is officially back. For the first time in 2 years, it is time to kick off the offseason with nothing but the best Birds coverage you came for here. Offseason chatter, trade rumors, coaching staff changes, draft, free agency. It is all here because, guys, sit back, relax, because the 609 debut of the one, the only Birds of the Gridiron. Oh, it feels good to say that name again. Starts right now. That easily has to be the sickest intro in the game today. What is going on, everybody? Welcome into the Eagles exclusive show coming to 609 Sports Talk Radio, known as Birds of the Gridiron. So, look, if you need a little bit of a background for this, if anyone remembers, about 2 years ago when 609 was on a hiatus, Tyler and I started a little show called Birds of the Gridiron. We went crazy on Eagles stuff. Of course, that was the offseason where we signed Saquon Barkley and Bryce Huff. We don't want to talk about that. But either way, so we decided now that the Friday Night Gridiron picks is over, since there is no football season, we are going to dedicate a show strictly to our loyal Eagles fans that deserve Eagles coverage all offseason long. And this is why Birds of the Gridiron is here. We've done some revamping. And for anybody that's watching, the Birds of the Gridiron Facebook page, still active, live over there as well. So for all our fans over there, we're back. And did a little redecorating, new background, great new intro. Shout out Georgie making that awesome intro. I just, sometimes I watch it just so I can watch it.
Oh, yeah.
But as always, Sam Nelson, Tyler Adams. Don't tell me you're wearing the dang Hall of Fame shirt.
I am wearing a Hall of Fame shirt.
All right, so no, that was not planned.
It was not planned.
But guys, happy Friday. We hope you guys are all getting ready to start a very fun weekend. Happy Valentine's Day to all that celebrate. I, for one, cannot because I'm, well, you know.
Sam, you can be your own Valentine.
I am my, no, I will get a gallon of milk and that will be my Valentine. But anyway, so look, each week we're going to find some stuff about the Eagles to talk about. We are going to talk, there's going to be a lot of stuff going on between now and the NFL draft. That's going to be the bulk of this Eagles coverage. But to start off tonight's show, we're going to talk some A.J. Brown in a little bit because, oh my God, we're at it again. There are three
I thought it was getting better.
There are three things guaranteed in life: death, taxes, and A.J. Brown trade rumors around this time of year. We will get to that at the end of the show. It's not going to be long episodes, but we're going to hook you guys up. Big topic tonight: Eagles coaching staff. It looks a lot different. So look, we'll go through the positions that they have filled. Some have left. Some should have left. Some we wish we would have kept. We'll get to that as well. But Tyler, I want to start the show off because you and I, outside of the week after he was hired, we really haven't got the chance to go in depth and talk about it. On a scale of 1 to 10, what is your confidence in the Eagles hiring of Sean Mannion to be their new offensive coordinator? If you had to put on a 1 to 10 confidence scale, Where are you currently sitting right now on February the 13th?
Wow. You start off swinging with this question.
That's all I do is swing.
Man. How I would view the hiring of Sean Mannion without being too harsh and without being too overconfident, I would give it a 6.5 out of 10.
6.5. Okay.
And for my ranking with that number, that's more of I don't mind, but I'm trending towards being optimistic.
Okay. So you're kind of in the middle. So what are some things? Are you so concerned about some things?
Well, when you look at it, I mean, here's all the things on the bright side, right? What he did with developing Jordan Love. Last year, Jordan Love had his best career completion percentage and his highest passer rating. And we even saw Malik Willis have some strides of NFL capable quarterback play when asked to step in as a backup. That makes me confident that he was the quarterback's coach for them. And you actually saw his ability to develop guys. Now, that is a big jump from developing one position to you're in charge of the entire offense. Now, I know he's definitely got a lot of upside. Hopefully, he brings a little bit of a freshness to this offense, some creativity, because Lord knows there was no creativity in Kevin Patullo's offense. And he comes
Let
from
me do this
a
again.
coaching tree. Spent some time with McVay under Matt LaFleur. I mean, these are great passing offenses that these coaches are known for. So if I can get a guy who's been able to pick the mind from them for years, that's where the optimism comes in a little bit. The skepticism, obviously, the no play calling experience. But like we've discussed in previous shows, there wasn't much of that going around in this hiring cycle.
No.
So, you can't always go for a veteran guy because they're not always available. You got to find the next up and coming guy. So, hopefully, we found that one. Maybe we can actually have a consistent offensive coordinator for multiple years. I'll even just take 2 years. It's going to be a
The
back-to-back
report
good season.
the report that first came out was he was going to be the offensive coordinator in Las Vegas
Mm-hmm.
if and when Kubiak got the job. Because that is how highly regarded Sean Mannion is. And like you said, this is a guy that was coached by Sean McVay. He was coached by Kevin O'Connell, and he moved up quickly as an assistant on Matt LaFleur's staff. This is a guy that is around that Shanahan McVay offense, and that's what Jeffrey Lurie wants.
Yeah.
They are, and look, I'm going to say this one more time, and I hope we only speak of this one more time. I understand the Kevin Patullo creativity in the offense thing. Once again, it's not Kevin Patullo's offense. It wasn't Kellen Moore's offense. It wasn't Brian Johnson's offense. It is Nick Sirianni's stagnant, stale offense that has
Sam,
at this
I'll
point.
tell you now, this will not be the last time we talk about this because it's
Oh,
always
it
a
won't
topic
be.
of discussion. Because I get what you're saying, but why are some coaches able to succeed using his offensive playbook more than others?
One guy succeeded. One. And that was Shane Steichen.
Wait, so you wouldn't say that Kellen Moore succeeded?
Kellen Moore. Kellen Moore, when did Kellen Moore become a run first offensive coordinator?
Uh,
Mike McCarthy ran him out of Dallas because he didn't run the football.
yeah,
Now
well,
he's running the ball.
read the room with the strengths.
Lead the room with the strengths. This whole offense should be a strength.
Should be.
You have a top 5 running back, a top 10 wide receiver core, a top 10 tight end. Because remember something, even in the midst of that whole entire win streak that they had in 2024, the pass game still looked bad. It all has to do. Now, hold on. I will say this. Kevin Patullo is a part of the passing offense issue. For the past 4 years, he was the pass game coordinator. I'm not saying he's not at fault, but the lack of creativity, Kellen Moore didn't get very creative in 2024. It was really just Jeff Stoutland's offensive line played out of their freaking mind the entire
Well,
season, and
that's
Saquon
true.
went absolutely insane.
But he also did a lot more with, pre-snap motion.
Which now that part I agree with because that went away. But in terms of to be fair, in terms of passing, Devontae Smith had more yards this year than he did in 2024. Granted,
Yeah,
some
but
he missed some games with injury in 2024.
see,
So
there's always going to be caveats to it because yes, you can say the offensive numbers weren't as good last year. I'm talking about Super Bowl year. But when you're having that much success running the ball, why are you even going to try to pass the ball more? If
well,
you're
you
just
can't become
dominating teams, running the football, and no one could stop them. Everyone tried, no one could. It was a sight to behold. Why would you take away from that to throw the ball more?
I don't disagree.
So, like I said, we're going to have this conversation endless times because it's always a hot topic. It always comes up. But I noticed you mentioned something. I don't want to segue too fast if you had more to talk about with Mannion, but you mentioned how we had Kevin Patullo as the pass game coordinator for so long. And I love the addition of bringing in Grizzard from Tampa.
I'm so happy you were the first person outside of me to pronounce his name right.
Is it that hard to pronounce?
People literally no, you got it right, but people literally keep calling him Josh Grizzard.
Grizzard. And it's probably just a accent thing, depending on where you live.
Right in Philly, I agree. Why are we talking about Kevin Patullo?
That's the reason we fired him, so we didn't have to talk about him anymore. We talked about him enough leading up to him getting fired.
By the way, how happy were you that you saw that the Dolphins hired him?
Oh, so happy. Immediately, I was like, good luck to whoever's on that offense next year.
Because look, he was still in the building. He
I
was
know. I
never
didn't know
fired.
that.
He was demoted.
I didn't know that.
They were
I thought
actually
he was
going to.
done.
Nick Sirianni was actually going to try to keep him on the coaching staff.
He was going to get this guy some senior assistant ball boy job.
But just be real. Let's take our opinions on Kevin Patullo out of the equation here, okay? If you were Kevin Patullo, would that not be the most awkward thing ever?
Yeah.
Like, you were awful at this job. Now, look, like I said, I also want to say Kevin Patullo was a humongous issue with this offense this past year. No doubt about that. All I've said in the past was there were other factors in there as well.
There were.
And one of them we will get to a little bit tonight, but mostly to next week's episode. And that was because those 5 guys up front were not ever healthy. But anyway, go back to where were you at with what you were saying?
I mean, with Mannion being a young coach, first time play caller, bringing in Josh Grizzard, it helps in so many ways. I mean, it's a guy who possibly could have been looked at by other teams as an offensive coordinator this year.
Interviewed here twice.
Yeah. But for him to come in with the reduced role, it gives a little bit of a, I don't know if I want to say a safety blanket for Sean Mannion, but another person whose mind he can pick and advice he can get to try to scheme together the best offensive passing unit that he can.
Well, you could look at this two ways with Josh Grizzard and Sean Mannion. Grizzard could either be promoted here as offensive coordinator if Mannion gets poached for a head coaching job, or if a certain head, if Mannion gets promoted here because someone gets fired, Grizzard could also be promoted to offensive coordinator under Mannion. Look, I'm not. We're going to talk plenty about Nick Sirianni in the coming weeks. We're not doing that tonight. He's still the head football coach. I'm not there yet.
Sirianni.
Listen, hold on. Do you remember all the years where a good year in Philadelphia was going 11-5? If our down years are 11-6, then you sign me up.
Oh, I know.
I don't understand where people are so upset over that.
A lot of it are the new fans, but there's still some of the old time fans as well. Because I know me growing up watching the Eagles, there's a lot of bad times. There was a lot of what the hell am I watching every Sunday? If I got to see this team go 11-6, get bounced in the first round of the playoffs, well, they still won their division. All right, see you next year.
Pretty much. But no, but like to have somebody, and also if you remember something, when Josh Grizzard was the pass game coordinator in Tampa Bay, they had one of the better passing attacks. I mean, Baker just had a great 40 touchdown season with him as his pass game coordinator.
I do not put their down year at all on him being the offensive coordinator for them. There were countless injuries amongst the offensive line, Baker Mayfield playing through injuries, and to the receiving core and their star running back, Bucky Irving. Everyone got hurt at some point. Even Ibuka was playing through some injuries. So I'm not gonna sit here and criticize Grizzard too much on the down year that Tampa's offense had.
And even if there is something where you could say it was a down year because of that, some guys are just better at certain roles than others. Maybe he's a better pass game coordinator. The fun fact about Grizzard is the year he was their pass game coordinator, he called their third down offense.
Oh, really?
They had one of the top 5 third down offenses in the league in 2024. Go look at, and by the way, go look at the route trees that McMillan, Godwin, Ibuka run. So it's not like Grizzard isn't familiar with getting a bunch of top tier receivers the football. That's all they've done with Tampa Bay.
Yeah. I honestly, how I kind of look at the addition of Sean Mannion and Josh Grizzard is, I said it. That's okay.
You did it.
Don't shake your head. Just let it happen. If it happens, it happens. We're going to call him Josh G.
That's too close to Josh Job.
Josh Grizz. That's what we're going to call him. Josh Grizz.
The Grizz. We're going to have a Wawa sandwich named the Grizz halfway through next season.
No. Too early for nicknames. Anyways, back to my point. I view it more beneficial as a combo for Mannion hopefully elevating Jalen Hurts and getting him comfortable with the offensive scheme this year. And then I look at Grizzard. There you go, Sam.
You say nothing.
But I look at Josh Grizz at his ability to be able to make the passing attack. What's a good word for it? I got so used to Kevin Patullo.
More creative.
More explosive. You know what? Anything that's not vanilla ice cream.
Right. Don't disrespect vanilla ice cream.
Still needs some fudge.
But no, I understand what you're saying. And like the thing with Jalen, and like a big thing with this new coaching staff that I think we're severely underrating is go Sean Mannion, a former NFL quarterback, a former backup NFL quarterback. He can see almost anything through Jalen's eyes because he's seen those things.
Yeah.
I mean, we haven't really gotten to the other coaches yet, but Ryan Mahaffey, who's going to be the new tight ends coach and run game coordinator. He used to be a fullback in the NFL. Chris Cooper, who I'm sure we're going to talk about in a minute, is our new O-line coach. Played guard in the NFL for 8 years. They're bringing in guys that are young, guys that have worked with Sean Mannion, and it's guys that have played the game that can relate to these players. Not that, look, I'm not saying nothing about Jeff Stoutland or any of those guys. I'm just saying they're trying to fix up this offense because it has been too stagnant and too inconsistent for years now. The only time this offense was a big reason they got to a Super Bowl was because of Shane Steichen. And I'm not taking anything away from Kellen Moore whatsoever. But Saquon Barkley and that defense in 2024 were out of their minds. Let's just be real as it is. Those two things are the biggest reasons why they won that Super Bowl in 2024. Can we agree on that? So
still giving Kellen Moore his due.
Oh, I am. I am too. I'm not saying that, but Kellen didn't have. They were a better passing offense under Shane Steichen than they were Kellen Moore. I think that's a more fair way to put it.
Yeah.
So if you look at it that way, I am still under the assumption that they are, because again, I understand we were talking about it earlier about Patullo. Nick Sirianni was the play caller when he first came to Philadelphia. So what the heck does that tell you? This was Nick's offense for the past 4 years. And Jeffrey Lurie is getting sick and tired of having to do this every other year where I have to find you an offensive coordinator to make your offense work. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go hire an offensive coordinator. They're going to bring in their own offense. And now you basically don't do much on that side of the football. Because I'm telling you, Lurie loves his offense. Having a top-tier defense, thanks to Vic Fangio, is nice, but Jeffrey Lurie loves offense. And they want to have a top-tier offense year in and year out. And if that means that he has to go far...
tickets.
Exactly. Offense sells tickets, defense wins Super Bowls. Which, by the way, everybody, I'm going to say this on Unbiased on Monday at some point. For all the people that said defense first doesn't work in today's NFL, you're out of your mind. You're seeing a change.
Yeah.
You're seeing the change in
outside of a few years. When did it really ever go away?
I don't know. It's just everyone was like, "Oh, nobody cares." I mean, and it's also with all the rule changing, like the kickoffs now at the 35. They're catering everything to the offense.
Yeah.
But we're at a point now where defense is winning championships again. As Mikey would say,
it's all about the D.
And we ain't talking about Dallas. We don't talk about Dallas on this show. We'll get you on Mondays. You ain't getting that here.
About good teams.
All right. So, and I still haven't given my confidence on Sean Mannion. I'm right there. I'm at a 6. I'm a little lower than you. I'm at a 6 because I understand everybody wanted an experienced play caller, you know. But see, here's the problem with everybody, including my current co-host that's on this show with me. I'm putting you in this category too. Every single freaking play caller that had experience, you didn't want. People wanted Brian Daboll. Okay, Brian Daboll's offenses have accumulated what since he left Josh Allen? Mike McDaniel was never coming here. He checks You know how there's a 10-day forecast? Mike McDaniel checks the 365-day forecast. If there's a cold day in freaking November, he ain't coming there. He went California to Florida to California. There is clearly what he wants. He doesn't want to play in cold weather.
Well, he's going to have to.
Well, yeah, and the Chargers in the playoffs will be the same thing that we saw for the past 4 years. But then when we got down to the nitty gritty of it, there's other experienced guys. Oh, Matt Nagy's out there. Oh, I don't want him. Well, then what did you guys want? You guys couldn't get happy with anything. But see, this is why when you have such an extensive search, as I just knocked my microphone back a minute, like, look what happened. You get Sean Mannion in here, who they believe is the next bright offensive mind from that McVay Shanahan tree. And look what all those interviews you went for, it got you your new pass game coordinator. Because Josh Grizzard had 2 interviews here. And I'm guaranteeing you in that second interview, they were like, okay, well, we're probably going in this direction at offensive coordinator, but what would you feel like if coming here as the pass game coordinator? What could you do to help fix this pass game? And not to mention, that's the one key part to the coaching staff to help Sean Mannion. Yeah. Grizzard is a former play caller. He has experience at it, something Mannion doesn't. So, and like you brought up with Mannion earlier, Jordan Love, statistically one of the best years of his career. Malik Willis looked good at quarterback. He probably got Malik Willis a decent payday this offseason.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm at a 6. I like the direction.
Wow. I rated higher than you?
Yes.
Wow.
Well, look, we don't know what this offense is going to look like come September. Yeah. Who's going to be out there? Is A.J. Brown going to be a part of this offense? Is Dallas Goedert going to be a part of this offense? Is Landon Dickerson or Lane Johnson going to be on this team next year? We still have to see how the offensive line looks next year now that Stoutland's gone.
Exactly.
Which that hurts so much.
Yeah.
And people, to all my Eagle fans, let me tell you something. Here is the difference between Birds of the Gridiron and anybody. If you listen to WIP still, I can't help you. WIP has bookmarks from last year saved in their Twitters that they're talking about right now. That's how much short on content they can be. Jeff Stoutland, yes, what happened in season had a very big part to do with him leaving. However, the run and block schemes that a Sean Mannion offense, which is more like a Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan type, are completely different than what Stoutland and this offense has been doing for the past decade. It's different than what he did under Chip. It's different than what he did under Doug, and it's way different than what he's been doing under Nick. Stoutland didn't feel like that was another key contributor to him leaving. I'm not saying it's the only one, but for everyone that just, Nick wrote him out of here. Yes, Nick Sirianni wrote out the best offensive line coach in the past decade, all by himself.
No. He kept him around for so many years, and he's been great still for so many years.
Yeah. The guy survived 3 coaching staffs. The guy got through. He survived Chip. He survived Doug. He survived Nick.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, we still don't know if Stoutland's if he's gonna coach again, if he wants to coach again.
And again, I keep saying it. This is where I go back to the whole thing with Kevin Patullo. I'm not saying Patullo wasn't a main part of the problem last year, but is Stoutland just going to get a pass? Our unit wasn't good last year.
No, it wasn't. Not at one point.
I can't remember. I think the only game I can remember them actually looking halfway decent was either Minnesota,
second Giants
and
game.
then it was a crapshoot after that. Mailata had not played consistent all year. Landon Dickerson did not play well. He could barely walk half the season. Cam Jurgens was brutal this year. I mean, brutal. I'm talking about, I thought maybe Brett Toth should have started playing more. That's where I was with Cam Jurgens. I was calling for Brett Toth. And ironically, I'm pretty sure Brett Toth's the one that played the Vikings game.
Yeah, Brett Toth, he looked pretty solid center.
And, I mean, there was clearly a downgrade from Mekhi Becton to Tyler Steen. I would say big, but Steen isn't. Okay, yes.
Big downgrade.
Tyler Steen's not. Oh,
Better
listen.
better than I'd put him middle of the pack in terms of starting right guards. Wasn't the worst, not close to the best.
I don't. Yeah, I don't disagree. I
He
don't
honestly,
disagree.
he didn't seem like a good fit. Now, who knows? Maybe he's a better fit for the new offensive scheme that's coming in with Sean Mannion and the new offensive line coach. I don't know. I don't know if I want to take the risk of finding out. I thought Steen was a very good backup player that could come in and be a backup tackle or guard.
I wouldn't say tackle. That's Big Fred's job.
That is true. And I hope Big Fred. How long do we have Big Fred under contract? Because we traded back for him.
Free agent.
He's a free agent. Yikes. Well, Howie, if you know what's good for you.
Yeah, unless you drafted one in the first round.
Yeah, because could you imagine if we let him walk in free agency and Lane retires?
It's okay. We're going to re-sign Matt Pryor. We're in good hands. Just like Matt Pryor was in good hands against Jared
Can
First.
Jalen Hurts redshirt this year? Is that possible in the NFL?
Well, his legs redshirted the entire season, but that's another story for another day.
Oh my gosh. Sam, he's not getting younger. He's not going to be the same runner he was.
Well, then guess what? We may be having some uncomfortable conversations in the coming years then, buddy. Hate to break it to you, but you saw what a not-so-mobile quarterback goes to when his legs get taken away in Carson. Let's see what happens if the mobile quarterback loses his legs. We see that story before.
Confidence.
My answer to this comment, no. For two reasons. Number one, Stoutland's no longer here. I don't know how you lose a reclamation project. They go back to being terrible. Can you make them a reclamation project again? Because he was pretty bad in Los Angeles.
If they're gonna go out and get someone in free agency, you gotta get one of the better ones.
Yeah,
But
like
I don't
where's
know
the
if I
next?
want to spend that much money for at right guard.
Well, hold on. The last time they spent money on a pretty important right guard by the name of Brandon Brooks, that was one of the best free agent signings ever.
It was. That was also before we had to pay so many players that are young on the defense.
That is true because we didn't have a lot of young players on that defense. It was really just Fletcher Cox, and we paid him the same year we signed Brooks.
Yeah. So it's
Those
not
are
like
also
they
older.
got money burning a hole in their pocket.
Well, no, because this is going to be a conversation we're going to have towards the end of the show. But you're going to have to start getting, you went cost efficient on defense, so the offense could be high powered. Now you're going to have to start looking the other way.
Mm-hmm. I
But
still think that starts with the certain someone that we'll talk about later.
Yep. So you want to give your thoughts on losing Stout? Because I'm heartbroken by it. I love Stout.
It's terrible. I mean, he's probably one of the most legendary offensive line coaches that the NFL's seen. Because for a guy to just know what he's good at, never wanted to seek out promotions to, offensive coordinator, head coach. He loves his offensive line. He loves developing. And damn, if he hasn't done a great job with all the people that have been in Philadelphia over the last decade plus.
I mean, just look at this. This is the only guy that Lane has ever been coached by in the NFL. And then, I listen to 97.5 The Fanatic every day when I come home, and Bill Colarulo makes great points. Now, also, regarding that comment, They have reported that there is reasons that Mekhi Becton will not come back to Philly. There's apparently something that we don't know that happened that he will not come back here. But also, they brought this great point up. Jordan Mailata has never been coached by anybody in his life. That's not Jeff Stoutland. He didn't play football.
I know.
Jeff Stoutland's the only guy that's ever coached him in his life.
Yep, I know.
So, what are your thoughts on Chris Cooper?
Oh, do you want the bluntfully honest?
You can give the bluntfully
and then
honest.
I'll back away from the ledge.
Well, yeah, because I probably am seeing it more in hindsight, but yeah, I'll let you go first.
First reactions. Why did we take what seems to be a failed offensive line coach? He's been doing it for what? I think 3 years. He was Minnesota's O-line coach.
3 or 4, yeah.
3 or 4. Never ranked in the top 10, I don't think. Usually middle of the pack. And last year they were toward the tail end of the pack. Now, okay, if I gave Grizzard the same credit with injuries plaguing his offense, I can give him some credit for the fact that he had probably double-digit different offensive lines out there over the course of the year, having to put different combos together.
They had 25 different offensive line combinations last year.
Jeez, I thought it was going to be like in the teens.
No, 25. And by the way, their best one, Christian Darrisaw, hasn't been healthy in over 2 years.
Yeah.
And then when they thought they fixed it, adding Kelly, he gets 3 concussions throughout the year, and then Will Fries gets hurt. They haven't had a healthy offensive line in the entire time Cooper was there.
So, as I take a step back on it, no one is ever going to be Jeff Stoutland level.
Yes.
That will take a whole decade worth of being a dedicated O-line coach to accomplish that at a successful level. What he just needs to do is hopefully with a healthy unit and hopefully not too many guys stepping away from the game of football.
Well, as of right now, it sounds like Lane will be back.
Okay.
We need his word.
But what Lane are we getting? And I'm talking health-wise, not skill-wise. Health-wise, do we get a Lane who has nothing but nagging injuries the whole year?
I'll tell you something. That was Frank injury, man. If you're a lineman on either side of the ball, it hampers you. It really does. I don't know. This is why I don't whether he comes back or not. You got to get the replacement. You've pushed it down the road as long as you can. Yeah. It's time.
You need a draft your future.
You can make the case that this year's draft they got to do what they did when they needed corners and double dip in the first 2 rounds, and I wouldn't hate it.
Yeah, they might. But those are my views on Chris Cooper.
Now, look, I'm in the same boat. I get it. But here's how I look at it, right? It wouldn't have mattered who you brought in. They are all going to be behind. They're all going to be playing catch-up because they're not Stoutland. No one's going to like them because it's Stoutland. And I understand the concern with the Vikings. But again, that offensive line has not been healthy in over and any year he was there, it was not healthy. Last year, they had 25 different combinations. Also, I don't think Minnesota has the offensive line talent that Philadelphia has. If Lane comes back, they do not have the talent that we do. Now, but again, it's another guy who played with Sean, who played in the NFL. I think he played and overlapped in Minnesota with Sean Mannion at one point.
I think he did. Yeah.
So again, I'm willing to see where it goes. We don't know how it's going to go. Because guess what? There have been guys that have been bad coordinators in some spots and went other places and succeeded.
Exactly. You
Look,
never know. And the fact that a
this
lot
is
of these guys have something in common with Sean Mannion is
welcome to the city of Philadelphia, where we will talk about the offensive line coach more than we'll talk about the offensive line itself. A position coach is only as good as well as his players play.
well, that is a two-folded question because the development that Stoutland got out of his guys.
I'm not
We're,
denying
we're
that.
going back years. We're going back to, what was it? Halupalo Tivaitai? Was that his name? The guy?
Halapuli Vati
Oh,
Vaitai. Get it right.
okay. Thank you. I'm actually glad you remember that. That's great. What he was able to do came in as a rookie when Jason Peters got hurt. Oh, we went to a Super Bowl that year. I mean, there's just been countless guys. Oh, who was the dude with
Mailata.
obviously my lot? I was getting to him. Um, left guard, Samalo. He developed him too.
Another good name.
Like the development that he's had with these later round picks, and then of course with Jordan Mailata, never played it down of
I,
football, and he's one of the top 5 left tackles in the league.
I'll go one better. Was Jason Kelsey a great
No,
center before Stoutland
Jason
showed up?
Kelsey was on the verge of possibly not coming back to Philadelphia. Jason Kelsey was not always a Hall of Famer. He was not always a star. He had a rough early going.
He was just the only center on the roster.
Exactly. And Stoutland developed him too into what we saw his career be. So that's the difference. Like, I get it. Yeah. The coach can only be as good as the players. The coach has to make the players better too.
And again, this is this whole conversation is very uncomfortable because it's change. We're not used to change, especially on that side of the
Well, yeah, I
football
was going to
with
say
Stout.
offensive coordinator we used to change. So
I'm used to that changes like Kardashians finding new boyfriends. That changes almost daily. But my point being here is this is uncomfortable because it's change, and change sometimes can be good. We don't know what that of this staff is going to be.
yeah,
But another one I like to talk about is Ryan Mahaffey, who is now going to be the run game coordinator and the tight ends coach, former fullback. I am very excited about that. I like a former fullback with an offense that has utilized a fullback over the past couple of years. You know, Cam Latu,
yeah.
Ben Van Sumeren. I'm excited for that. I am a little ticked. I won't lie to you if I'm not a little PO that because he was the Green Bay wide receivers coach and then Green Bay needed a new one and they took Nola Pauly from Penn State. I won't lie to you, tell you I'm a little ticked off at that still. And now my wide receivers are back in purgatory. But
You'll be fine.
yeah, talk to me about college football in the summer. But again, another guy who's played in the NFL. That's what I like about some of this coaching staff. Sean Mannion played in the NFL. Mahaffey played in the NFL. Chris Cooper played in the NFL. So it's going to be very interesting. And Grizzard, I like that too. Now, let's go through some of the coaching staff that is returning. Give me 1 second because there's a lot to unwrap here with this. Okay. So here's what we have so far, what we're aware of. We know the new additions, Mannion, Grizzard, Mahaffey, Chris Cooper. Returning in the same role is Jamal Singleton, who will still be the running backs coach and the assistant head coach. I have no issue with that. Aaron Moorhead is returning as wide receivers coach. I wish they would have looked different because now you want to talk about this, right? Aaron Moorhead has probably the easiest job in the world. He has A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith.
Yeah.
Have we developed a single wide receiver outside of those two
Nope.
under Aaron Moorhead?
Nope. Couldn't name one.
Tyler. Watched plenty of Penn State football in my life. For the 2 years he's been on this team, what have I told you about Jahan Dotson?
Outside receiver.
Yes. And where do I keep seeing him line up? In the slot. Quez Watkins stunk. Jalen Reagor stunk. We have not developed a wide receiver with Aaron Moorhead here. That is a position I wish they would have moved off. So, returning both, here's coaches that are returning, but their role is uncertain. Parks Frazier, who was the pass game coordinator last year, which now we have to see, will Parks be back? Because, I mean, Grizzard took that job.
You know what? I hope, what's his name, gives him a call from Miami. Already forgot his name. Kevin Petullo. Yeah, give him a call.
Greg Austin last year was the assistant offensive line coach. We'll have to see if he keeps that role. Eric Dickerson, no, not the Hall of Fame running back.
Man.
He was the offensive quality control coach. Montgomery Van Gorder, he was an offensive quality control coach. Future uncertain. Now, Kevin Petullo is on this list. This was, of course, tweeted out before he took the Dolphins job. And Scott Loeffler, who was the quarterbacks coach last year. They have interviewed Greg Olson. No, not the tight end.
Damn.
And they also interviewed the quarterbacks coach from Arizona. So it looks like they may be going in a different direction, although not confirmed. They haven't made a hire yet. They've talked to a few, but that's about all we know as of right now. No longer with the team, of course. Christian Parker, that's another tough blow. Jeff Stoutland. Tyler Yelk, who was a defensive assistant, he went back to college. And Jason Michael, the tight ends coach, was let go from the team. All you had to do was watch Grant Calcaterra attempt to block somebody, and you should know why Jason Michael no longer has a job in Philadelphia. What the Eagles did, like we just brought up, they did lose Christian Parker to the Cowboys, and that's another tough blow because he has been so pivotal in the development of Quinyon, of Coop, Reed Blankenship,
even Adoree Jackson.
I was going to go one. I was going to bring up Adoree Jackson, but I was going to go one step back. Why don't we talk about Darius Slay last year, playing the best football of his career?
Yeah, that was his best year, easily.
I will say second best. I still think 2022 Darius Slay was better. Brother, he held Justin Jefferson to 7 yards on Monday Night Football with 2 picks. Could have been 3.
They were both very good seasons.
James Bradbury.
Yeah, it's another no.
Oh, no, wait. Back up. Never mind. We're going back too far. Parker wasn't here then. Parker just came here last year. My mistake. But no, but Darius Slay in 2023 was not good. Him and James Bradbury had rough years, and Darius Slay, for that age, to play the way he did last year, and like you said, Adoree Jackson, you were cutting him after week 1.
Oh yeah, I was done. He was just getting burnt all around the field.
It's like, is that Ronald Darby? What's going on here? So, I mean, losing Parker's big, but so Joe Casper is officially taking over as the defensive backs coach and the defensive pass game coordinator. Roy Anderson will be promoted from cornerbacks coach to safeties coach, and they are hiring Mike Pellegrino to be the corners coach. It sounds like he was just recently with Buffalo. He worked with, of course, Benford. He worked with Maxwell Harrison this past year. He helped revitalize Tre'Davious White's career this year. Before that, spent a long time in New England under Belichick, helped develop Christian Gonzalez, helped Stephon Gilmore become a defensive player of the year, playing his best football in New England. Another very well-respected assistant defensive coach in the NFL. And I think the defensive backs are in great hands. Because Vic loves Joe Casper. Casper came here with Sirianni on his initial staff. Vic took him to Miami with him and then brought him back here. So, even with the loss of Christian Parker, I think they did a good job of filling out the defensive back coaching staff.
Yeah, I agree.
So outside of a couple situations on where we're going with some coaching staff moves, are we getting with the quarterback coach, stuff like that? Where are some other assistants going to fall? We have to wait and see. But I do like the Eagles, what they're doing with their coaching staff. It's fresh. They're trying to find fresh, innovative, creative ways to fix this offense. They're going into the McVay Shanahan tree, and Sirianni has basically lost his entire offense. So let's just call it how it is.
Yeah, they're literally saying you don't have to worry about the offense. You just coach the team, and that's it at this point.
Which, and I'm just going to say now, if I get one person that says to me, oh, what's Nick Sirianni do? What's Mike Vrabel do? Besides lie on his injury report before the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I bet there are a lot of upset bettors about that. Drake May, no injury heading into the game.
Yeah, okay. Oh, yeah, by the way, I got my shoulder shot up last week.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you see the video of one of
No, do I want to see the video?
one of the sideline hits that May took right in front of the Patriots bench? It was right in front of Vrabel. Vrabel goes to help him up, and he was like, "Do you want to finish this?" As in, like, I can take you out. Like, if you can't do this.
Yeah, that
I'm sure.
whole
I think
situation.
it was probably like sometime, probably early fourth quarter.
Whole situation is weird. But, we've been talking about the offensive coaching staff this entire episode, and one of the most important parts of that offense still has to be A.J. Brown. Now, A.J., of course, was on Radio Row during the Super Bowl saying he loves Philly. It's home.
Oh
It's always
man.
embraced him.
Ugh.
He said, and he even said that Kevin Patullo did a fantastic job. Man, what a bunch of word salad that
All
is.
right. Well, so you
So,
weren't afraid to speak out during the season, but you're gonna go ahead and give the guy his flowers after he gets fired. Well,
well,
demoted and let go. The nice way.
I wouldn't say he really he's not going to come out and trash his offensive coordinator.
I mean, I guess, but I
You
mean,
still need,
with what he said over the course of last season, Sam, he doesn't need to trash him, but he didn't have to lie.
like I said, it's word salad. That's all it is. It's word salad. So, Tyler, of course, the trade rumors are already speculating. A.J. Brown says he loves Philly, but Diana Rossini has to say, well, I need a good hit story this week, so let's bring this up. And Bleacher Report needs to be shut down because they proposed a trade today. A.J. Brown to the 49ers for a second, a fifth, and Brandon Ayuk. Why would I want another problem child on my team?
Brandon Ayuk.
I'm good.
How about we change it to um they're
First,
late first. Give me a third and Brandon Ayuk. And then if
no.
I don't like Ayuk, just release him.
No, I just want the first and the fifth, and I'll go draft Mekhi Lemon or Denzel Boston and call it a day. So wait, hold on. You and I were just talking about defensive players need to get paid. So you want to take on that contract?
I forget what's his contract.
Terrible. Go ask the Niners. Go ask George.
George, what's his contract?
But all right, Tyler, thoughts on AJ Brown's future in Philly, and then we're gonna get out of here.
Thoughts on AJ Brown's future in Philly? I got a few words.
Oh boy.
No idea. Don't care. So,
I got to
Sam,
hear the don't care part.
I'm going to elaborate by saying that I don't think I've minced my words once during this whole season. AJ Brown,
Okay.
hell of a player, great player. he's looked like he's won it off this team since before the bye week. Shit, I'd
But
even
you,
say before week 4. His body language, now either if it was him still playing through injury, not being fully 100% himself, or just not caring to give 100% of the effort. If he doesn't care, I don't care. The way I look at it, if we can get assets in return, and I'm not talking about I don't want to get scammed.
Anthony,
Started following the Giants on X.
Anthony, I'll tell you, there's about 18 different players on that roster on why that won't happen. That's because I'm going to ask for the top of the top.
Brian Burns.
Yeah, one of them. I'd take Thibodeau.
Yeah, Thibodeau's got some upside. He's kind
You
of
give me
lost in the
Thibodeau.
mix.
Give me Thibodeau in a second. I may,
But
maybe.
that's the thing. So my don't care is that I'm over the drama with AJ Brown. Another thing is I kind of want Smitty to be the number one guy. But I also realize we need a very good number 2 behind him, which Dotson is not.
No.
So there's things that need to be done. But if we can get a good trade package for AJ Brown, if he wants that fresh start, if he truly doesn't want to be here, then make it happen.
And oh my God, for the people freaking out, oh my God, we're going to have Jahan Dotson as wide receiver too. Do you really think that Howie Roseman is going to go into a season with Jahan Dotson as his wide receiver too?
Hell no.
And so, I made a post in the 609 group weeks ago. I called Devontae Smith my wide receiver 1, and Brian laughed at me for it. And I said, little do people not understand, I've always liked Devontae Smith better than AJ Brown.
Yeah.
I love AJ, but guys, go back. I'll share the video. Kaylee luckily recorded it and sent it to me. Go watch our reaction the night they drafted Devontae Smith, and then go look at our reaction when they traded for AJ Brown. We were ecstatic. I've always been a Devontae Smith guy.
Me too. I'm in the same boat. Like, I've always felt like, honestly, AJ Brown, in my opinion, has held back Devontae Smith.
But then again, you still see with the right coach, you can get these guys both to be productive.
You do, but I still feel like, come on, Devontae Smith, the last wide receiver to win the Heisman in I don't even know how long.
You're going back a while.
It was a long time. He didn't just do it by luck. He's extremely talented.
Anthony, I get that, but once again, I'm going to say it for the 15th time. You guys utilized him to his strengths. He was an outside go ball wide receiver. We ran him in the slot, which he never really does. I watched him play at Penn State his whole career.
Here's what could work, right? We trade AJ.
Oh, God.
We find a really good slot wide receiver. No, hear me out. Find a really good slot wide receiver as your wide receiver 2. You can let Dotson play on the outside opposite of Smitty to try to get you those big plays. They won't happen often, but, just the chances of it. And then you start utilizing the middle of the field with a good slot wide receiver.
Why don't we just draft a tight end for that? We need one anyway.
We do. But if we can use, so many teams are successful because they utilize guys in the slot and getting them open across the middle of the field. I want to see some of that. I don't want to just see, okay, your number 1 and number 2, they're both out wide. We don't attack deep over the middle. So we're just going to watch them run out routes. Well,
Well,
I'm
that could be
getting ahead of
split.
myself. We have a new pass game coordinator, new offensive coordinator. I'm getting ahead of myself. I don't know how it's going to look now. But all
And
I'm
that's
saying
what I
is,
want.
what if our second best wide receiver on the team is operating mainly out of the slot?
I don't know. It will depend on what they do with the tight end position because we still have to do an Eagles stay or go, and that's going to be next week because I don't know what's going on with it. We don't
They're
know what's going
not
on with
ready
AJ Brown. We
to
don't know
part
what's going on with
ways.
Dallas Goddard either.
They're not ready to part ways with Dallas Goddard.
They were almost last year.
Yeah, and then imagine where they would have been if they did.
Oh my God! You thought Patulo's offense was and Sirianni's offense were bad last year with him. Imagine what it would have been without him. But again, Tyler, it's not just about they may not be able to. Dallas Goddard probably worked his way into another long-term deal. They don't have the
Yeah.
money. You have to pay Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis soon.
Stop reminding me.
And that's the other thing. I think Sean Mannion and this new coaching staff is going to have AJ kind of excited to still be here. The only way that AJ Brown will not be here, I've said this 1,000 times, will be because of AJ Brown. Because right now, we are going to find out who his issues really are with. Was it with Kevin Patullo? Was it with Nick Sirianni? Was it with Jalen Hurts? You're going to find out where these issues all lie the entire time.
Yeah, well, I hope we find out before the draft.
Find out before the. Do you act like we don't have one of the top GMs in the sport running this show? But I personally, right now, I am more confident right now than I was at the end of the year that AJ will be back. Because maybe Sean Mannion and this offense can get something. I mean, look, if you
Tried to hold out hope for it.
Oh, look, and I'm in the same boat. I'm the same one that called out AJ all year. Like I said, AJ Brown is a little two-faced. He says he wants the offense to succeed, but when they were struggling, Jalen threw 4 picks in a game, but I had 10 catches for 110 yards. I didn't care. That's my problem with AJ Brown. If you want the offense to succeed, I'm okay with that. But you cannot say a word when they're still failing, but you're getting yours. That's not a good look for you.
Yep.
So look, and I'm glad he broke his silence. It was on Radio Row. He looked happy. He was saying he loves Philly. Let's see. Right now, I'm 50-50. And honestly, the 50% of me that thinks he won't be here has nothing to do with what happened last year or with his attitude. It's because you guys got to understand these guys are not here forever. Jason Kelsey wasn't going to play
Yep.
forever. Lane Johnson's not going to play forever. AJ Brown's not going to be here forever because they have to pay a bunch of players. Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, Quinyon Mitchell, and Cooper DeJean are going to come up fast. Jalen Hunt, if he continues to improve year in and year out. I know.
Not Quinyon and Coop.
You're not going to lose. That's why you got to start thinking about this stuff. That's why you got to make tough decisions on Dallas Goedert, on AJ Brown. You have to start thinking about these things because you went so cost efficient on defense all these years. You were able to have a high powered offense. Now you have to start getting cost efficient on offense. But that's what I think. That's another thing.
We're not going to be able to spend big at right guard.
Okay, sure.
How?
The GM that prioritizes that part of the freaking offense more than
I
anything.
do understand that. So you're telling me we're going to trade for a right guard?
That's also an option. But I also made the case. I could see them taking Lane's successor in the first round and drafting a guard in the second round, or vice versa. Because a lot of the mock drafts have them taking one of the tackles from Utah and either the guard from Oregon or the guard from Penn State. Luane. He was the only good offensive lineman on that team last year. But this is going to be a very interesting offseason, and that's why we brought Birds of the Gridiron over to 609, because we want to give our Eagle fans the talk for the Birds that they deserve. But outside of that, Tyler, I don't really have anything else to talk about.
Yeah. That's
all right, guys. Look, we're going to keep these episodes short, 45 minutes to an hour, talk some Birds. We talked Eagles coaching staff tonight. We talked a little bit about A.J. Brown. Next week, Eagles stay or go. So you saw that crying face Tyler made? Wait till next week when he has to do it again because he has to talk about Dallas Goedert, A.J. Brown, Nakobe.
Kobe Dean.
Tyler, it's going to be okay. It's going to be
Reed
okay.
Blankenship. Oh,
Oh,
no.
it's okay. We'll get there. Look, but guys, we'll talk Eagles stay or go next week. We'll talk a little bit about the offensive line in terms of Lane Johnson, Landon Dickerson. We'll get into that stuff next week.
Dory Jackson.
Okay, relax. Another position in the draft they may look at as a long-term answer at that number 2 corner spot.
Yeah.
Or you just trade for Denzel Ward and just lock down everybody. But guys, thank you all for joining us tonight. Hope you guys enjoyed this first edition of Birds of the Gridiron. This show will be on every Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern from now until the start of next season. Then, of course, we know the Friday Night Gridiron picks will return. But guys, have a great weekend. We hope you enjoyed this episode. We'll see you guys on Monday for Unbiased. And of course, Dustin and I will be on Wednesday for Hitting Home. We want to apologize for the technical issues we've had on Hitting Home so far. Our cameras keep getting cut out for a split second. But tonight, everything worked out perfectly. So, guys, thank you all for joining us tonight. Have a great weekend. If you have a significant other, have a happy Valentine's Day. Tyler, any weekend plans for the holiday?
Some dinner.
Nice. Very nice. Very nice to hear. But, guys, have a safe weekend. We will see you guys from Biased on Monday. We'll talk to you later.
The following has been a presentation of 609 Sports Talk Radio.
Sam, what did you do?